No GB teams, no GB development teams.
On top of that, we didn't have our full team ready to play.
Very frustrating, very frustrating indeed.
It's been a difficult few years for basketball, with the funding for the sport cut. I'm going to take you through a journey looking at the history and what the future has to offer. This documentary will look at men's basketball. One of the people who's been most hurt is GB captain Drew Sullivan, who's seen the team grow over the last few years.
To represent my country, Europeans, in the Olympics has been a huge honour for me, and it's something that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. A disappointment for myself and everybody in the basketball community, especially when you consider how far the programme's come in such a short period of time. I think that ultimately, they've made a mistake, but they've got a criteria that they say is that they stand by, and they don't make any compromise, which seems a bit foolhardy because it backs themselves in a corner.
1948 saw GB have an Olympic basketball team for the first time. At 87, Lionel Price is one of only 2 survivors from that team.
You were amateurs. You didn't have the television coverage. Newspapers were maybe 8 pages, not the 60 or 70 pages they are today. I didn't think it was any big deal that I played for England and I played basketball in the Olympic Games. It was only afterwards, when all the brouhaha of the news and television, well, of course we did have cinema news in those days, but they had to cover all the sports, and I don't think basketball came very high on their list of priorities.
The NBA came to London earlier this year, which saw the media out in force. So why is the media not touching British basketball?
Open the door at a slow pace, a baseball bat pointing straight.
Our youngsters all want to be Premier League footballers, they want to be models, they want to be the kind of things that they see in the media. If basketball is taken away from that, then we're no longer an option.
Media in this country, I have no qualms about their obsession with soccer, none. It's the world's game, and it's mega popular in here. I have nothing. But I mean, when the kid's going to get on a horse, they're going to see a horse in a riot. That's the only time in Brixton they're going to see a horse. When they're going to go on a boat, they've probably never seen the water so them.
But basketball is not publicised in this country. Most of the stars that play for the British team don't even live in this country or play for British teams. They play for Spanish or American or whatever.
So what is the legacy for basketball after the Olympics? The Copper Box Arena, which saw handball amongst other sports being played at London 2012, is home to British basketball team, the London Lions.
Well, every time we come to work here in Stratford on the Olympic Park, we approach the building and we can't quite, believe our eyes. We're playing in such a facility. We train here, and we watch the fans. When the fans come in here, they are so excited to be part and parcel of that legacy. Getting the players ready to play here is so easy. They are so inspired by wanting to play here. The Copper Box on the Olympic Park was an immense opportunity and too much to miss. The concept that we could have a British basketball team based here in such a prestigious facility was something I knew would have an impact, not just for the Lions, but also for basketball as a whole. So it's just tremendous to have that opportunity. So to have a British basketball team playing at the Copper Box shows that we are part and parcel of that legacy.
Naive was a name, but still had a heck did this whole thing all go wrong. Many fake smiles to a mirror, but inside I don't know where to belong. Still trying to be free from her grip, but the gravity's way too strong. It's like she don't care. She's got me strapped to an electric chair.
Most people involved in sports in Britain are politicians. Even if they're not actually elected, they're still politicians. And as such, they want to show their constituents, the people who are looking at them, vying for their spot, angling for a way to unseat them, that they've made great decisions. And the way you do that is by giving money to people who are going to give you gold. If I was still playing in the NBA, yes, I would want to play for Great Britain. I played for an England team when we were packed off to the Ukraine with £10 of spending money and a box full of pot noodles. You can look it up. That's actually the truth. So, glamour is not what made me want to play for England, in the same way that now it would simply be the honour of playing for Great Britain that would make me want to play for Great Britain. If I was late career, then I wouldn't want to think that my participation in the Games was the last team that we were ever going to have. 2012, remember that? That was it. Be a shame.
I contacted UK Sport to get a statement from them regarding the funding decision, and they gave me this reply. UK Sport is investing over £355 million of national lottery and exchequer funding into 37 Summer Olympic and Paralympic sports via our no compromise philosophy, which aims to ensure medal success at Rio 2016 and Tokyo 2020. Our investment principles are consistently and fairly applied to both individual and team sports. Sports that could not demonstrate a trajectory towards medal success by 2020 had funding withdrawn. However, the door is always open to all Olympic and Paralympic sports to come back into the system through our annual review process.
There is a criteria. There has to be a criteria for funding. It's government money. It's lottery money. It's our money. There has to be a criteria. That criteria initially was well flawed.
I think that the message that they're sending personally is that they're not overly concerned about team sports first and foremost, and obviously basketball falls into that category. You know, I don't think that UK Sport are necessarily telling young people not to play basketball. They're just simply saying that, you know, their focus is on individual sports for the most part.
They do it on the basis of medals, current medals now. How good are you going to be now? And I just think that it's short-sighted.
Now, obviously, GB Sport's decision to not fund GB basketball because of its medal-winning potential, you can't actually argue with the concept that they've put forward. I think the discussion has to be, is that the right concept for a team sport?
One of the most outspoken figures in British basketball is Jimmy Rogers, the man who helped coach Luol Deng.
Basketball's probably the most difficult gold medal to win. In reality, it's the most football. It's the World Cup. Soccer, it's the World Cup. But in the Olympics, I can't think of a more difficult sport, team sport, to win than basketball. That's in the first instance. You look at cricket. If you look at rugby, how many countries in the world play cricket? Not very many. How many countries in the world play rugby? Not very many. And they're not Olympic sports, and they're not likely to be Olympic sports, which the establishment can't cope with.
So what are the stats saying about the sport? Well, basketball is the third most popular sport amongst girls and boys over the age of 15. The BBL, the British Basketball League, saw attendances increase from 255,000 to 300,000 overall in the year 2011-12 to 12-13. Meanwhile, GB's under-20s team reached the top division of European competition for the first time. What makes a role model? Is it a winner? Is it someone who creates memories? Or is it someone we aspire to be? Liz Nichols, CEO of UK Sport, said that winners were role models.
Liz Nichols added insult to injury to say that the only way that you can be a role model is by winning. I think that diminishes everybody who competes. She's basically saying that if you don't win anything, you're essentially a loser, and you're not a role model. You know, my mum has never competed in the Olympics, and she's, as far as I know, never won anything at a high level, and she's a huge role model to me.
Success does make you a role model. I see sports stars these days as money machines. It seems to me that money has become the guiding principle. I won't say for all people, but generally speaking, professional sport is now all about money.
Because I think what they may be implying is the people, quote unquote, who are playing basketball. Maybe there's an element of that, maybe, but that's another story. Can blacks be role models? Of course they can. Of course they can.
So the future for basketball in this country is unclear, with 7 million down to 0 million in funding. What will the future hold for GB basketball? This is the Great British Basketball Debate.